starts within ourselves, in our hearts and our souls, toward the world and the people around us. When we realize that for a lot of people, life can be so very brutal and so very hard. Compassion starts within us, but it should never end with us. So the compassion being purely an emotion, that emotion needs to transform itself into action. A real and genuine call to help others. You don't need to read too many stories about Jesus to realize that his heart poured out for those who were hurting due to circumstances beyond their own control, such as illness and isolation and unrealistic societal expectations. Jesus literally suffered alongside those who were hurting, and he suffered with them all the way up until his death on the cross. To truly embrace our calling as a Christian, we cannot sit in a state of godly peace. We cannot sit idly by while so many others have little reason to experience joy. A great theologian of our day, Frederick Buechner, said, "Compassion is sometimes the fatal capacity for feeling what it is to live inside someone else's skin. It's the knowledge that there can never really be any peace and joy for me until there is peace and joy for you too." I think we've all had enough when it comes to the news stories telling us all that is going so wrong in the world around us. I don't know about you, but for some reason the last few months have just been unbearable, with news story upon news story of conflicts, of violence, of destruction. There seems to be a whole lot of suffering going on, maybe even more than what we previously thought, and it's more than what I previously thought, naively. If our hearts and our soul do not ache for the poor and the suffering and the hurts, even when they are not us, or someone we love, or someone we know, then there's something wrong with us, and we better check our pulse. I'm convinced that if we as a people, as Christians, as the body of Christ, are committed to embodying and serving each other with a heaping serving of compassion, that will be just what is needed in order to break down the power of violence, of hatred, of fear, of indifference that is so prevalent in the lives of so many in the world today. And we are all faced with a choice of what to do when faced with that kind of reality. Norman Cousins says, "The individual is capable of both great compassion and great indifference. He has within his means to nourish the former and outgrow the latter." And the choice is up to us. Will we respond radically to the call of Christ and compassionately serving others to suffer alongside them, to reach out of ourselves, to feel what others are experiencing? If we choose to intentionally achieve acts of compassion, more so than acts of fear and indifference, just imagine what kind of world we would have and what the world would look like. But come to think about it, I don't have to think too hard about it. I don't have to wonder what the world would look like. Because I'm fairly confident that if we serve others filled with compassion, that this world will look a lot like God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. And the whole church said,